Hello and welcome to Not Gambling Advice, the baseball and football betting stream on the Just Baseball Network. What's today? Thursday, September 14th. How about delivering some winners? Well, we did not deliver any MLB winners last night. My free fall continues on this stream. I'm down about 4 units. Over the full season, I'm down about 10.66. And I put out a message on my Twitter last night basically saying that I think I have failed. And now it's a loose term, right? From a unit perspective, yes. Of course, I believe, and I hope that you guys believe this too, that I'm still providing value, whether that be from the streams or the write-ups or, anything else. Any questions I get in my DMs that I can help everybody with. Only up from here, Pete. Appreciate you, Chili Dilly. Appreciate you. What's going on, everybody? I got an NFL pick, which is great because on the flip side, we've been hot in the NFL. Now, will that continue tonight? Only time will tell. But in the MLB, I just feel like I've been in my own head. I'm overthinking it. And sometimes I'm underthinking it, right? I thought I underthought picks yesterday, right? I was like, Core's over. It's got to hit. Hasn't hit in 2 straight games. Dodgers, they're going to win the series. Went 0-2. There have been other times where I gave you so much data and it didn't even come close. I didn't play the Pirates through the first 5 yesterday, right? I thought the total was weirdly low. That was overthought. Didn't end up playing it, right? So I just feel from that perspective that I have done a really bad job this year. And like I said, I'm not sulking, right? I appreciate the kind words, but I'm not looking for any sympathy. I appreciate it, no doubt about it, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm just telling you that I'm learning from this season, and we're going to hit the ground running in the playoffs. I'll still have more MLB picks as the season goes along, but it's going to be much more selective. Like for today, I didn't like anything, so I didn't play anything, but I do have my favorite NFL pick. I do have a prize pick square that I want to share with you. My issue is I don't have anything to pair it with. I don't like anything enough to pair this with. So I just decided, you know what? I'll tell you guys. It'll be kind of my prize pick square of the day. Won't count for anything, right? I'm not playing it, but just something that I think that you should put in your back pocket if you really like a square and you're like, well, what should I pair it with? Maybe you can have a little marriage with mine. Maybe you can fade it if you don't like it. Whatever you want, as long as you're coming away with coin in your pocket, and that is my number one goal. Let's bet on the NHL. I don't know anything about hockey. I don't know if I can name 10 hockey players. I'm kind of embarrassed to say. I don't think I can name 10 hockey players, so I will not be betting on the NHL. Alex Ovechkin. Okay. I mean, Sidney Crosby. Austin Matthews. Connor McDavid. You stole that one from me. I was about to say it. The goalie for the Rangers is good. Shesterkin. I knew that. Eners Shesterkin. Igor. We knew that. Let me get one more in me. There was this 6'9" defensive player for the Penguins for a while. Isn't he like 58? Zdeno Chara. That's a guy. Bruins. I got one more active in me. No, I don't. Mika Zibanejad. Chris Kreider. Yeah, just naming Rangers. That you don't want my NHL picks. Like, no way. If you got them, drop them in chat. We're going to be talking. Yeah, I mean, I'm not your guy. I'll be honest. I'm not your guy, okay? Pretty good for not knowing hockey. Honestly, I don't think it's that good. Not even Wayne Gretzky. Well, of course. I know that one. Greatest NHL player of all time. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, this is all brought to you by the Pikkit Sports App. And producer Cohen's going to throw the link in. You got to download it. Why haven't you downloaded it yet? Sync your sportsbook using code Peter. Let's flash the NFL. I almost said NHL. NFL leaderboard. Look at us. Only a couple people have submitted NFL plays. Right? Cali Wager took a tough turn to start the NFL season, but again, we all know it's early. Gino took a little bit of a spill. Colby, he went 1-1. I think he lost a prize picks entry, so he went down a little chunk of change. But how about me and Mid-Major Matt sitting up there looking pretty? Mid-Major Matt, full sweep. Of course, I submitted all my plays. I'm the only one who believes in it enough. Of course, I'm leading in volume, per usual. Colby and Gino both put out 9 plays. So they still got plenty of volume. California in first. I'm not shocked. We are sharp. I agree with you. I mean, I'm from California too, but I am living in New York City. But I agree. California on top. Also California in last. So it's not good for the California bit that we have going right now. What do we want to start with? Recap. Yeah, let's recap it. The Dodgers did not win. This is September 13th. We got the date wrong and the play wrong. It's not an ideal day for graphics all around and not an ideal day for me. More me because I lost the play and the date doesn't really matter. But I wanted to at least bag on producer Cohen because I'm sitting in filth by myself. Yeah, I did take Dodgers money line. They did not score a run. This play was right. No, I lost. Your play was wrong. Here, get on. Yeah, it's funny. Whenever you're talking to me, they can't hear you, so you got to get on screen when you're like,
I fucked it up.
Let's recap this. I mean, see, I still like Pepio, but I mean, this was such like, Peter, you're so cold at baseball right now. Soto, immediate bomb. Also, we got to shout out Blake Snell for a second. I mean, he was amazing. The Justin Steele MVP folks, or Cy Young folks, are kind of laying a little bit of piss right now. But how about these bombs? Then we got Blake Snell dicing. I mean, that curveball was so good yesterday. I thought it was an amazing start from Snell, considering it was his 4th time facing him. Lowered his ERA to 2.43. And then Tatis, a little base knock. I mean, it didn't really matter at this point. We were toast. Tatis, turn your hat around. No, I actually like when I actually think it's sick. I'm just pissed that I lost. We also wasn't on stream, as you all remember. We lost the Coors over. I was at a bad beat, sure, but honestly, I felt worse. Look at Larry Beeman gifting subs. What a beast. Beeman, you're a king. Thank you, my friend. Atta baby. Eric Facington, first time chat. Welcome to it, my friends. Probably going to be a relative short stream, right? I think we have producer Cohen? We got 4 people coming on, and then my pick. Yeah, we have 4. And Jake's picks, but are we going to wait till 6 p.m. for him to come on? No, sorry, Jake Hazen. Larry Beeman. What a beast. Yeah, shit's late today. Yeah, not a lot of plays. It's basically, do you got Thursday night football plays or not? I blew my bankroll on MLB. I'm hanging it up. It's been fun. Flash the Dawn. You know what? I respect that. Right? You got to know when to cut your losses. And I hate that meme. You haven't hit it big. No, at some point, you got to look yourself in the mirror. Your number one enemy is the man in the mirror. All right. And I respect that from Flash the Dawn. Peter, did you see the whole Colorado State beef with Dion? No, I did not. Oh, well, I think I saw a graphic. I don't know what it is, though. Okay. Madison under longest rush. Look at Facington being sharp. Look at that. I don't know if that's going to hit, but it sounds good. I mean, it sounds weird. Took Hawk over 4.5 receptions. Kirk over 262.5. Got in early with great odds. That a baby Leafs. You probably think I'm an idiot when it comes to the NHL with a Leafs tag. I assume you're a hockey guy. They made it personal. Colorado minus 22.5. Don't hate it. All right, ladies and gents. Let's talk Vikings. Let's go over this game. Right? What is producer Cohen? Can you pull up the odds on BetMGM? See what we're looking at right now. I got a lot of shit this morning for posting a stale line. We're looking at +6. I mean, good for me. Closing line value, I could give a shit at the end of the day because you know who doesn't give a shit about the closing line? The players on the field. You think Jalen Hurts gives a shit that his line is now 6, not 7? You think Kirk Cousins gives a shit that his line 6? I don't care. The reason I bet this, well, there's a few reasons, right? And I really do want an update on Darashaw, the left tackle for the Minnesota Vikings, because if he is not in, that's a big blow, especially because we know how good the Eagles' defensive line is. I don't know why I just had a brain fart right there. I was like, what team's playing the Vikings? The Eagles. Couple different things. For one, just simplest NFL betting. You're going to class, it's kindergarten, and you're learning to bet on the NFL. Taking a team that is 0-1 against the spread and 0-1 straight up against a team that is 1-0 and 1-0 against the spread, normally that's a good bet. Because when you look at a line, generally, the team that won against the spread is just going to be slightly overvalued. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that you take the Vikings, but that's just initially what led me to the line. And then I looked a little bit deeper. And first, Eagles are banged up. You guys have all heard it, right? Nakobe Dean, linebacker, got put on IR. Sits right in the middle of that defense. It's a tough blow, especially when the Vikings want to go all over the middle of the field. With TJ Hawkinson, with Oliver, with Addison, with Jefferson, we know the drill. But then, in the secondary, we know all about the safety being out in Reed Blankenship, James Bradbury. Those are tough losses to the Eagles secondary. So for a team, when I'm looking at it, a team that likes to pass with 3 impactful defenders that are definitely going to help you stop the pass game, that's going to make me lean even more into the Vikings. And also another point that I learned, all these syndicates and these bots, they bought that 7.5 line as soon as it came out, dropped to 7. And then on Tuesday, I sent out to my subscribers, I like the Vikings for more than just the injuries, the line, and all that good stuff. Because I think it's more impactful when you look at how the Eagles covered the spread in week 1 and how the Vikings lost outright to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll start with the Minnesota Vikings. I watched every snap of that game. And the turnovers that the Vikings got were definitely some unlucky turnovers, right? One of the turnovers was the right guard basically punching the ball down against the center. There's a couple of bad passes by Kirk Cousins. A couple of unlucky turnovers. And then basically what happened is the Vikings, they lost that turnover battle 3-0. And when you lose the turnover battle 3-0, you're not going to win the game. Even though the Vikings outgained the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on every side of the ball, right? And there was a couple of things that I was really impressed with the Minnesota Vikings in that game. For one, they really did a good job on their defensive line. Like everybody, you hear, what's the main narrative? The Vikings defense stinks, right? They lost to Baker Mayfield. They stunk last year. I was impressed with this Vikings defense. And I know it's Baker, but Baker has some damn good weapons. They held Rachaad White, right? We took Rachaad White under 699.5. How did he do on the ground with 17 carries? Not well. Now, the Buccaneers' offensive line is not too shabby. That's not their problem, right? And this is why they actually could be a decent team going forward because the defense is not bad. The offensive line isn't bad. And Baker, he has at least good weapons in Godwin and Evans, and we could continue. So when I looked at the Vikings, I thought, well, that was a very unlucky loss. And in the minds of the public, it is going to paint a very bad picture. Not only because it was a tough loss, but because the Vikings were one of the week 1 slate's most public sides, right? Sharps bought that down. Buccaneers ended up winning outright. But what we also do know is that Kevin O'Connell, the head coach for the Minnesota Vikings, has always had trouble with Todd Bowles. If I'm not mistaken, against Todd Bowles, I don't know if he ever has a win. I don't know if he's covered the spread. So that's one of those games where I should have been on the Buccaneers. It makes sense that the Buccaneers won. And then on the Eagles side, outgained by the Patriots. That Patriots offense. Now, I know Bill O'Brien is now in, but they didn't look good. And that's a game that I feel that the Eagles now travel on a short week. They didn't learn much from that game, and they still looked really sloppy to me. They should have lost that game. It was one of the luckiest wins on the slate. The Patriots, I felt, was the right side. Now, I didn't bet the Patriots. I didn't bet the Eagles. But looking back at that game, the Patriots should have won or at least covered that spread. So I think the Eagles in this spot are overvalued. The last time these two teams played, I fully understand they won 24-7. But that line was 2.5. Should it be 6.5? 6 now? No, I think that's why you saw sharp action coming on the 7, drop it to 6. I would still play at 6. Now, 7 is, of course, a key number, so it's a better number. But realistically, I think that this line should be 4.5. The more I think about it, because I said bet to 6.5, the more I'm thinking about it, I think this is going to be a much closer game. I think the final score, 24-21, Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be surprised if the Vikings win outright. Give me the Vikings plus the 7. It's too big of a line. Multiple different things. I think the Eagles come out sloppy. I think the Vikings, hungry dog runs faster, right? We know the statistics. You start 0-2 in the NFL, your playoff chances, not good. Now, will the Vikings win? I don't know. But I think you're going to get an extremely motivated Vikings team. And just to wrap up on the Kirk Cousins thing, can we stop? Of course he's not good in prime time. But a lot of those stats are outdated. He's 5-2 against the spread in prime time since 2020. He's 5-2, right? On Thursday Night Football, all you hear, well, he hasn't won a bunch of games. He's 4-4 against the spread. 4-1 against the spread on Thursday Night Football in his career. That's even dating back to his time with the Washington Redskins, now Commanders. Damn, I've heard Vikings so much today. I got to go Eagles. I get that. I'm actually very surprised I've heard some Vikings too. But I will be on the Vikings today. Skol, let's talk to Colby because he's got to play on the total that he really likes. Cole, what are we looking at today?
Going on, brother. What's going on? Looking at the over on this game. For the Vikings, they could not be getting this Eagles team, Pete, at a better time, right? The Eagles are coming off of playing a horrendous game that really they luckily won against the Patriots, where Mac Jones has an errant throw that bounced off receiver's hands, pick 6 for 70 yards. All right, that's pretty lucky. Then you have Zeke Elliott fumble in his own 20, and the Patriots didn't give up another touchdown. Like this Eagles offense did not look good, but I think this Eagles offense should be able to rebound today. It's actually this Eagles defense that I'm a little bit worried about today. Losing James Bradbury, losing who's the safety?
Reed Blankenship.
Yes, Reed Blankenship is out as well. The Vikings should be able to attack the middle of the field. It's also why I'm going to be on Jordan Addison over more than 3.5 receptions in my Prize Picks entry. But I think that the Vikings should have no problem moving the ball, but I also don't think the Vikings are going to be able to run well against this interior defensive line that the Eagles have that's just nasty. And the Vikings' weakness on the O-line is on the interior. They have a good right tackle and left tackle, but that interior of that offensive line for Minnesota isn't great. So I think they're going to be throwing the ball a lot today and getting the ball out quick. They should be able to create a lot of mismatches today. But also, this Minnesota Vikings defense isn't anything crazy. And I think Jalen Hurts is going to be able to have a lot of time in the pocket and create plays downfield. I wouldn't be surprised if you see an A.J. Brown, 50 to 60 yard reception today. Wouldn't shock me. I think they're going to be able to create plays downfield, and this turns into a shootout. But Pete, I agree with you that my lean is the Vikings here, and I really don't think that Vikings money line is a bad play if you want to put 0.25 units, if a half unit sprinkle if you're feeling yourself on a Thursday night here, because I think that there's definitely value on that play, especially just catching the Eagles on a short week like this with just coming off of a terrible game. And I think the Vikings got to be feeling like leaving that loss, we lost and that sucks. but also a lot of things didn't go their way. All their turnovers were in the first half as well.
Couldn't agree with you more. We were talking in the office, and I was like, if I'm not on a prime time under, means I kind of lean the over. But I was telling Colby this too. I'm a prime time under guy. Like, more often than not, you're going to find me on a prime time under. If I don't bet the under, it means I lean the over. My issue is, and I gave you a 24-21 final. Basically, what I think is that it stays within 3 to 4 points. It all makes sense for the over. Everything makes sense for the over. Just game script wise, if the Vikings are down, they're going to be throwing it. And if you're throwing it with incomplete passes, clock stops. I think the Eagles will be able to move the ball. Like, I'm not saying that the Vikings shut out the Eagles or anything. But I can't physically take a primetime over. I just can't do it. Because, and to wrap up on that point, I was telling you, I was like, if I take a primetime under and it goes over, whatever. Lost a bet. I'm going to lose more. I'm going to win. I'm going to lose. Bets lose. If I take a primetime over and it goes under, I won't be able to sleep that night because I'm going to be so mad at myself that I went against what I know to be true, that primetime unders are going to hit more than they don't. But this might be the one that goes over. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, Cole, but I respect you for doing it.
Thank you, man. I mean, it's Big Cat's
that's a tough
whale of the year. So that is tough for me. But, looking at the splits across the board, Action Network, I believe this morning was like 50% of bets, 59% of the handle was on the over. Pikkit just now was, 58% of bets, 55% of the handle. So it's really nothing crazy splits wise, which makes me feel a little bit better. Like if 70% of the handle was on this over, it would definitely be a little scarier. But yeah, I think this is a good play on this over, just catching it on a short week. Could be a little bit of sloppy football in the way that the offense gets to eat. These defenses aren't well equipped on either side of the ball. And even if this Philly pass rush does get to Kirk Cousins, I don't know if that really hurts the over. Like, they're going to be backing up the Vikings potentially, and then getting short field opportunities like that. That actually almost helps me.
Yeah, it's a good question here from JClear88. Vikings couldn't score in 2 quarters at home versus the Bucs, and the Eagles were on the road facing a Belichick defense. What makes you think Vikings perform better on the road in Philly? Well, JClear, like I said, couple injuries, key injuries to the Vikings secondary and their linebacking crew, right? No James Bradbury, no Reed Blankenship, no Nakobe Dean. So that's not going to help them. Number 2, Kirk Cousins, when you're talking about in the first 2 quarters, I couldn't agree with you more. A lot of turnovers, right? And some unlucky ones at that. I think that reverts back to the mean, right? If those turnovers don't happen, I think it's a completely different game. And turnovers, I think, are the most fluky stat in the NFL, right? They go back and forth. A lot of it is luck, right? If Darius Slay doesn't return that pick 6, right? If we're talking about the Eagles, if Darius Slay doesn't return that pick 6, Eagles lose that game. So we can go back and forth on which got unlucky. It's just kind of whatever narrative you choose to say, right? If you say, well, the Vikings didn't score. Yeah, well, the Eagles didn't really score anything offensively against the New England Patriots. I assume you're more talking about the total.
Yeah, he's definitely talking about the total. He's definitely referring to...
Because also in week 1, sloppy offenses, like I'm not going to put a ton of stock in that. I'm not going to say because they were sloppy in week 1, why do you think they're ever going to score again? Like that, we can't do that. JClear, we can't do that. I mean, it could go under, right? I respect your opinion. I'm just saying, like, we cannot base off what week 1 offenses did and not take a total because they didn't score in 2 quarters against the Bucs in their first 2 quarters of the season.
Yeah, I mean, totally, Pete. Totally. I mean, it's a bet. At the end of the day, it's a bet, and either side could win. But this is really just my analysis and my lean on this game. Before mid-major comes on, I do want to talk about the Prize Picks entry just really quick and touch on that.
I want to talk about it.
Yeah. So Jordan Addison, I'm on more than 3.5 receptions. It's actually moved up to 4 this afternoon, so that always feels nice. But I think that Jordan Addison is going to be a really nice, safety blanket for Kirk Cousins because the Eagles are either going to have to try and blanket TJ Hawkinson or Addison. right? Justin Jefferson's going to get his, but they're going to obviously be focused on keeping Jefferson at bay. But Kirk Cousins is going to be throwing the ball a lot today, and I think Addison is kind of that perfect mismatch guy where they can find space on slants and get him into some creative mismatches with this Eagles defense. And then A.J. Brown, less than 5.5 receptions. You brought this up to me this morning, and then I looked into it a little bit more, Pete, and I told you this morning about Devonta Smith, right? He is consistently going over his reception totals because A.J. Brown is kind of the guy that's taking the top off the defense, and I think he could absolutely take the top off the defense today. But I don't see him being that, just chain mover, 10-yard receptions. I think Devonta Smith is going to be that guy today, and the Vikings are going to really try to stop A.J. Brown from racking up those 15-yard gains. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, let's talk about that one. Producer Cohen, can you pull up my Twitter? Can you share screen with both of us on? Is that possible on StreamYard? I want to bring to what Colby's talking about because I like Colby. You were talking more about Smith, but I really wanted to. So A.J. Brown under 5.5 receptions is my favorite prop on Prize Picks for Thursday Night Football. If you could just share the screen. So I got this from Outlier. It's a great app. We'll talk about it more in the future, but I just wanted to show you this screenshot here. So A.J. Brown, everyone's on his yards, right? And I don't hate it, right? I think he's going to go over the top, and I think he'll be at least close to his yards. I don't hate it. Now, I'm not taking his over yards, but his under receptions was staring at me because he got 7 in his first game, right? And now he's at 5.5 juicers the under. And that's important to me, right? On some books, on BetMGM, he's minus 120 towards the under. On DraftKings, I saw he was minus 145 towards the under. He has not gotten 6 receptions or more in his last 20 games 14 times. 14 times, ladies and gentlemen. His median is 5. Right? So if we look at this, A.J. Brown has failed to exceed 5.5 receptions in 14 of his last 20 games, 4.9 receptions per game. There's so many options here. Now, could he get his yards? Absolutely. But I think this is a pretty sneaky square. I just couldn't figure out what to pair with because I didn't really like any other props in this game, right? If this was a Sunday and we had more games to choose from, I'd probably be on this.
Pete, the funny thing is you put out on Tuesday, you put out the Vikings, and then you're like, I think I'm going to put out TJ Hawkinson props. And then everybody and their mother is on TJ Hawkinson
Couldn't
props.
do it. I love TJ Hawkinson. I love that. We're getting it from books like 99% of bets are on the over. Every bet slip I've ever seen as TJ Hawkinson. I'm like, I still like it, but I think everyone on earth likes it. Like, it only takes half a brain to like that prop.
It
So
does.
I just decided no sneaky baseball props. To be honest with you, Richie Parlay, I've been laying in my own filth when it comes to baseball, so I didn't even look at the baseball board today.
The Chaim Bloom Red Sox second game of the doubleheader max play.
Max Boner whale play. I like that. Yeah. When there's one game the whole day, there's going to be a lot of people on the same things. I don't think it's crazy. I could not agree with you more, like Lightning 99. I could not agree with you more. When there is a standalone primetime game, you're going to, especially on Twitter, when you follow everybody under the sun, you're going to see a lot of the same stuff. But it's not just, I saw it in entries. It's book stuff. Like, I know that 99% of the money is on that. Someone say Whalebone or Jake Hazen. Shout out Jake Hazen. Also, Jake Hazen, you're coming on at 6. Can you come on a little bit earlier? Colby, we're going to welcome on Mid-Major. Appreciate it.
Yeah, wait. Before I go.
Yeah.
Shout out Mid-Major. Can we flash that football leaderboard?
Flash the football leaderboard and show Mid-Major at the top. Has not lost an NFL bet yet and has a rolled up polo. Sure.
Jets! Jets!
Producer is just like.
And without further ado, Mid-Major. Good luck. I'll talk to you guys later.
Colby.
Adios.
Mid-Major, I have a question for you. I've never found out this. Has nothing to do with sports.
What's up?
Why is your username not Mid-Major?
So when I first went on Trent's stream, I was during college basketball season, I think, or I love college basketball, so I find a lot of value in smaller schools and mid-major schools. So I put mid-major Matt. There's some motherfucker on Twitter that has that name. So I'm not mid-major Matt.
Okay. All right. I never understood that. I never even asked you. And then I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I get more engagement than that guy does. He has like 6,000 followers, so fuck him. I'm gonna take over his username when I get more followers.
It's probably a nice guy. So it's not
he's
just
super nice.
Not mid-major Matt is not someone who has like 8 followers. Just like it's like an actual person who does Twitter.
Yeah. I'm not that guy.
Does he bet on college basketball?
He usually bets. I don't know.
So he's a betting person.
Yeah, he charges people for picks, so that's not who I am. He's the complete opposite of my persona. He's not that good looking. He's very smart, and he's a good gambler. So he's the exact opposite of what I am.
Fair enough. Mid-major Matt, 3-0. Just starting hot again. Starting hot in the NFL is amazing. Doesn't it feel just so good?
It feels great. My last play obviously was the Jets. I had the 2.5. I had the 2. They won. I mean, if you told me Zach Wilson was going to play 58 minutes, I would not have made the bet. But it won anyway. Happy with the result. I'm happy. I did, in my opinion, cap the game correctly. It was more so on the Jets defense that it's been building for years just to stop Josh Allen. So I'm happy that part of the research played out well. It's stymied Josh Allen all night. That being said, I'm putting a fuck ton of money on the Bills this week against the Raiders.
Are you? I feel like
I am.
So for the Sunday slate, I feel like there's so many obvious bounce back spots. Like there will not be a single human on planet Earth on the Raiders.
There shouldn't be. But you don't think, Peter, that the Raiders played?
No, I agree with you. They're coming off a win against Denver, traveling to the East Coast to face an angry Bills team. The Bills shooting by 60. Every stat backs it up, and I'm scared. I might end up playing it, but like the Seahawks, it's so obvious of a bounce back spot. The Bears, it's so obvious of a bounce back. Like, are those just the plays? Like, am I overthinking it?
Well, I was talking with DJ earlier.
I have other plays, but it's like those plays I'm still trying to consider.
I mean, there's 17 games for an NFL team, right? As opposed to 162 for MLB. It's hard to choose which narratives are going to be right. It's hard to choose which trends are going to be right. So you really got to do a fuck ton of research, and you just got to hope you're right. I think an opening line of 9.5 for the Raiders after they just went on the road and beat a divisional opponent. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty safe, in my opinion, going on the road and just getting almost 10 points against a team that looked terrible in the most recent, what have you done for me lately crowd. Josh Allen threw 3 picks. You know how many people he burned with them losing that on the money line? How many live bettors lost a fuck ton of money? People are going to get burned by him. They're not going to want to back him.
That's a good point.
That's how I'm looking at it. 9.5 seems really fat, and I respect it. I don't think it's close to 9.5. I think they win by 17 minimum.
It's 8.5 now.
Don't care. I'll buy in again. The market, it's getting bought down on the Raiders. I'll keep buying in. If it gets to 7, I'll worry. It's the same number. 9.5, 8.5 are the same fucking number, Peter.
Yeah,
when you get to that number.
I personally the years I've been betting on the NFL, spread doesn't really fucking matter, and that gets into your first play. 3.5 plus 145. Why not us today?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I think this is a 1-score game. So I'm not playing the 7. I have the 7.5 ticket in my wallet. I cannot play that now because it's like minus 150. I'm not going to put that on stream. But I think this is a 1-score game. If the Vikings lose, I think they lose by 7. And I think they have an absolutely chance to win. I misspoke. I'm sorry. It's a 1-score game, either touchdown or a field goal. I don't think they win by 4 or 5 of the Eagles if they do win. So I'll take the field goal. I'll take the odds at this. But I also have the 7.5 ticket. So this is a bit of a hedge or, a bit of a double down on my end. Because I do think that I guess there's a lot of narratives you can play into this, but what I know for a fact is the Eagles defense played 18 of the 30 minutes in the second half against the Patriots on the road on defense. They were on the field for 18 of the 30 minutes. They were tired. They were gassed. I think you had the Patriots. Am I correct?
No, I didn't. Remember we were talking about it. We were like,
that was the professional
that's
bet.
the right spot, but I couldn't I couldn't bet
That
on
was the
Patriots.
professional bet to have, and it was the right side.
I agree.
Behind a phantom holding call, behind a pick six,
Yeah.
behind all that shit, and the Patriots probably should have won the game, or at least gone to overtime minimum.
I think
It was
they
the right
should've won
side.
game.
That being said, it's because the Eagles' defense did not look good, specifically their secondary. They allowed Mac Jones and one of the worst receiving cores in the NFL to just run all over them in the second half. Now you take that. Now you go on a short week coming back home against one of the most explosive wide receiver rooms in the NFL. I like the Vikings' offensive chances. I don't know if they scored because we saw the Vikings' offense have issues, against the Buccaneers' defense, which has a good front seven and a decent secondary. But I think we can move the ball fairly easily between the 20s. We just got to figure out what we're doing inside the red zone because, as we touched on in the spaces, Madison is just not that guy. He's not getting over his rushing yards. So without us running the ball, we got to figure out how to get Hawkinson in the game plan more involved. But I like the Vikings.
Actually, I think Madison has a pretty good game today. I don't know about his rushing yards, but I think overall, I think he has actually a pretty solid game. I think he probably
reminds me of
his rushing yards.
He reminds me of a scat back. That term came popular kind of early 2010s with kind of guy like Alexander Madison, not a very strong runner, but has a lot of good footwork once he has the ball in his hands, very agile. So I'm sure we see a lot of dump off passes or very short passes to get him the ball in his hands because as everyone knows, Bradbury's out, but he's a fucking terrible center, so that doesn't really mean anything to me.
Yeah, that's what I was like, why is that a big deal? He was one of the worst centers in the NFL last year, and his backup, when he came in against the Bucks, finished above Connor McGovern of the Jets and Mitch Morse of the Bills. So that centers, doesn't mean he played great.
Yeah, so that on top of Darrisaw,
is he gonna play or no?
I doubt it. If he is, he's a big motherfucker. So if he is, he's gonna be limited, and it's actually gonna hurt us if he plays. To be honest. That being said, though, Peter, with those two important starters on the offensive line, with primetime Kirk Cousins and his record against the spread, and to get that number down below 7 after this same Vikings team, who everyone perceives to be a lot worse this year than last year, lost by 30 in the same game last year.
Well, lost 24-7.
I mean, it wasn't a close game.
Yeah,
it wasn't a game. But all that being said, and it drops below the 7, that means a lot to me. That's a lot of the respect for the Vikings team that a lot of people don't want to touch. I shouldn't say a lot of people. A lot of people who know football know how awful the Vikings defense was last year. We didn't do much to improve it, but we got rid of Patrick Peterson. As Dejan will tell you, he's a terrible, he should be a cornerback. But we have a worse running back. We have a worse offensive line. And we have a better receiving core, but can we get the ball out? All that being said, and the line's dropping down to the Vikings. I respect that movement. I'm on the same side, and I think it's a 3-point game at minimum, at worst.
More than fair. We got more, though.
Yeah, I do. It's a prize pick center. As we spoke to, A.J. Brown, I guess, is going under because everyone's fucking on it. But what I do know is the Vikings
everyone's on A.J. Brown's under?
That's what you just said. With Colby.
We were talking about everyone. Colby and I talked about it.
Are you referring to me? Am I everyone?
No, you said that everyone is on the under.
Over. I meant over. So it's going under.
Okay.
It's going under. But what I do know is we had trouble with Mike Evans paired with Baker Mayfield. We have trouble with big receivers. Big, strong, physical, fast receivers. A.J. Brown is probably cream of the crop in that regard.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to guard him. He's going to take the top off our defense. I don't know if he gets 6 receptions, but again, Peter, if you look at that chart that you had, a lot of those stats were in the playoffs as well. So the best defense he's seen all year, quote unquote. So I would take that with a grain of salt. But our defense,
not a lot of them. I think 2 or 3 of them were in the playoffs.
His more recent, obviously, last 2 or 3 games, to the Super Bowl.
But still, 14 of 20. That's not all. I mean, that's all of the season in the playoffs.
I didn't know it was that large of a sample size. So that makes more sense.
It was 14 of 20 have gone under that.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. But I love him. He's a big playmaker for the Eagles, and we just can't contain him. We have a new secondary, so we're still gelling. But I think he gets the receiving yards fairly easy. I know it's a standalone game. I don't love the over for the game, but I do like him to get his yards. And I like Jalen because we didn't get a single sack on Baker Mayfield last week. I don't know if that changes on a short week in our defense going on the road.
So the Vikings are going to lose by 30 is what you're saying.
Did not say that, sir.
No, I was kidding. Let's talk Kirk Cousins over 37.5 pass attempts.
Absolutely. So what I saw again last week in Mac Jones, terrible offensive line, bad offensive line, terrible receiving core. Mac Jones threw 54 times. 54 times attempts because he was behind and he was facing the Eagles secondary that was tired in the second half. So he had a lot of easy throws. I think that's what we're going to see today. Implied odds is that the Vikings will be trailing. So inferred is that because Kirk Cousins is going to throw the ball. I don't know if he completes the passes, but what I do know, he's going to try a fuck ton because I do, with Bradbury and with Darisaw out and questionable, how are we going to run the ball with an undersized running back? Kirk Cousins is going to throw the ball 50 times.
I think you're underrating Madison a little bit. I do. I don't think he's
I
as
do
bad
not.
as you're saying.
I don't think he's bad, but with what I do know for the Eagles defensive line, it's massive. We're not going to be able to block it. I know that, even without Jalen Carter.
I mean, the Vikings are losing by 15. You're very negative on the Vikings.
And yet I took them.
Yeah.
I gotta point out. I gotta spell out the narratives for each of my plays.
Okay.
But again, I don't like us running. But Kirk Cousins is gonna throw a fuck ton. I know that for sure.
You know that for
so
sure.
his pass attempts are soaring. Yeah, I'll take your action on the under if you want.
I don't want the under. I'm just listening. You
Yeah,
just said for sure, and you're like,
I'd be
whoa.
scared too. I'd be scared too after that pitch.
Okay. All right, get out of here. Good pitch.
All right,
We'll see
brother.
what happens.
See ya.
Talk to you. All right. Is it DeGen time? It's DeGen time. DeGen, you and I were texting, and I'm happy when you come on, but are you kind of a fraud for not picking a side or a total and you're muted? You're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, I think I would be a fraud if I came on here and I spent time pitching you and your listeners a side and a total that I wasn't putting my own money on.
So you're
therefore,
not betting the side and the total.
I'm not. And do you want me to tell you why?
Of course.
Okay, well, first off, if I'm playing this game, I'm taking the Vikings. I would really want a 7. If it's 6.5, I'm buying it to 7. And I really like the under. So the reasons why I'm not is a couple of things, but I do know some people that I respect on opposite sides of what I like. So I know some people that are on the Eagles, obviously, and I know some people that like the over. But I'm a big boy. I make my own decisions. I do this all the time. If I really like a play, I'll put my money on it. But if I don't love a play, then I'm not going to force it. It's a long season. It's week 2. I had a great week 1. I saw you did as well. So it's the first Thursday night football, a game of the season.
Chiefs
so I'm
Lions.
not. I'm gonna
Chiefs Lions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right, Chiefs Lions. Right. It's the first one that I get to watch. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, I think it's interesting. You know, I was tuning into you a little bit on my way home, and I heard a couple of you guys pitching about like the travel on a short week. I don't really know that negatively impacts one side. I kind of think both teams are affected. I mean, if you think about it, the Eagles leave New England Sunday night, right after the game, but Minnesota has to travel midweek to get to Philly. So I think that's kind of a wash. I don't think the travel here, because it's not late in the season, I don't think that's really a factor. And it's a short week. I mean, these guys are fresh still after one game. So that none of that really plays into it to me. I just think I respect the Eagles. I respect the Vikings. And these potential injuries really throw me for a loop. Because, I think I heard you say about Bradbury, the center for the Vikings, being out, but he's not a good center anyway. That's a very good point that I don't think a lot of people would mention. So I give you credit to that. But
my thing is Eagles backers, which is fair. Like, if you like the Eagles, bet the Eagles. I'm just saying that they're like, oh, well, there's injuries to the defense. There's injuries to the Vikings. I'm like, it's very important. Who's injured? Bradbury, the corner, is much more important than the Viking center. The Viking center is one of the worst centers in the NFL, and that's like their key injury. And then Reed Blankenship, and then Nakobe Dean, and like we could continue.
I don't disagree with you. The only thing I would say is if the Viking center doesn't rank out well in terms of his performance with blocking, there's still a lot of other things that a center does on the offensive line that is really important. So
I agree. But then the other center, because he got hurt against the Bucks,
Mhm.
and then the other center came in, graded out extremely well. Graded in the top 20 of centers. That's what, like, the point I was bringing up. I'm like, that is actually not an injury that I care about. Yes. Would you
Fair
rather
enough.
your starting center? Is that a little bit better? Is that more important than James Bradbury or Reed Blankenship or Jacoby
Well,
Dean?
it
Not even
depends.
close.
Depends.
We'll see.
If you're the Bucks and Ryan Jensen was hurt, I would
That's
rather.
a great point.
Yeah, I'd rather have him playing than one of our good, even like Antoine Winfield. But on that note, I think people are going to overreact to the Vikings losing. The Bucks didn't win that game as much as I think the Vikings lost that game. I am a Bucks fan. There's no real bias in my opinion here, but I will tell you that I think their defense is actually better than people think. And still, the Vikings offense moved the ball down the field. Kirk was Kirk. Like, he stat padded, what was he, 33 for 40 or something like that? 2 touchdowns, interception. You already described the fumble. They shot themselves in the foot. The Bucks defense is going to be pretty good, better than people expect. And spoiler alert, I'm not sold on the Bears this week too. But
Me neither. I'm scared. I bet on their they're to win the division.
Yeah,
I watched that whole game against the Packers, and I'm like, that's the worst team in the NFL. Fuck.
Yeah. So look, I think the Vikings shot themselves in the foot. They did exactly what you can't do if you want to win that game. And the Bucks did. Baker did enough. You know what I mean? 5 yards per pass is an absolute joke, but he made some big plays, ballsy plays when he had to, running for first downs. On third down to ice the game, the touchdown pass to Mike Evans. Go ahead.
No, I thought the Vikings defense played well.
They did play well, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. The Bucs offense is going to be anemic and not a threat all year. But
I disagree. I don't mind Baker. I am a Rams fan. And when Baker was on our team, I was like, I bet on the Rams in when they were, I don't know, big underdogs, and that's the game that they won. They came back on the back of Baker.
The Raiders? Oh,
yeah,
God.
the Raiders game. And I'm like, he's not the worst quarterback. He's not good. I'm not here to pitch you Baker, but I'm saying Baker with a pretty good offensive line and good weapons is not that bad.
Right, but it's cool for a little bit, but I think it's going to, for an 17-game season, 18-week season, it's not going to last. But that same Baker, I'll never forget. Remember when they went to Green Bay? I think the Packers were one of my largest bets of that week. It wasn't good. I think the Rams were +7. Everybody was really hype on the Baker with Sean McVay. The Raiders are just the Vikings with cooler colors. So let's be honest. They lost that game very badly as well. Anyways, the Vikings defense, I think they're going to be a lot better as well. I'm not saying they're going to be top tier, but Brian Flores is a much better defensive quarter than whoever the fuck they had last season. They got rid of most of the people in their secondary. But I don't know. I think Marcus Davenport is or is not playing. That could be a pretty decent blow to their pass rushing. But that's why I like this under. I think that the Vikings defense actually is going to be okay. And the Bucs offense is not – I'm not buying Baker or Bucs offense stock. That's how the Bucs are going to win games. Their defense forces turnovers, and Baker just does enough. And he did enough. Now, in this matchup with Philly, I don't think the Eagles are going to come out in their home debut lighting the scoreboard on fire like some people are expecting. The 6 gives me concern because I really want the touchdown. So at 6.5, I'm just buying the half a point if I'm playing the Vikings and getting the one possession. But the Eagles lost both coordinators. I am on the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. They lost both offensive and defensive coordinators. That absolutely, no matter who you are, that's going to have an effect. And I think it's going to have an effect early in the season. I think they'll figure it out and they'll be fine. They have an insanely talented roster. And I think Sirianni actually is a good coach, even though I wasn't high on him out of the gate. But I think that what Jalen Hurts did in New England is, I give a lot of credit to, obviously, who wouldn't, to Bill Belichick, having the whole offseason, the game plan and scheme and everything. But that Patriots defense is going to be good. But Jalen Hurts was not very good. 170 yards passing. They really should have probably lost the game. It's a miracle they covered. I mean, they did nothing in the second half. But I don't know, as good as, Belichick is at game planning and as good as that Patriots defense is in a bad spot for the Eagles, I'm not panicking on the Eagles, but I really think there might be some concerns with the offense gelling or finding its identity this early. So you've got a better Vikings defense, and then you've got an Eagles offense still kind of figuring itself out. I don't think we see a lot of points. I have 21-17 exact score, 250-1. But what I do like is an aggressive Brian Flores who's going to blitz a lot. Now the Eagles have a great offensive line. That's no secret. But Jalen Hurts, I think, is going to run the ball. And what I think is going to happen is I heard Mid-Major Matt just saying the Vikings secondary gets eaten alive by big receivers. That is absolutely true. They are tiny. I mean, Cam Dantzler, who's no longer there, was a toothpick, but they're not big. They've gotten faster. Patrick Peterson was there. He's gone now. He was slow as molasses. They've gotten faster. But I think they're going to blitz Jalen Hurts. He had 9 rushing attempts for only like 30 yards against Belichick's defense. But I think he's going to find 1 or 2 really long runs. And I don't know that he really trusts yet throwing the ball deep and making those big plays as this offense figures itself out. So I think he's going to rely on his feet. I don't think he wants to make mistakes. And I think that he's going to – I have over his 46.5 rushing yards, or maybe it's 44.5 on Prize Picks.
49.5.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, well.
Is that – yeah, you sent the screenshot in.
No, if that's what it is, it's what it is. I have it straight for 46.5 on FanDuel, but maybe it got bumped up.
Oh, 46.5. We'll change it to 46.5 for you.
No. Whatever I say.
Because it's down to 46.5 now.
Oh, okay. Very interesting.
Well, it may be – did you bet it on Prize Picks?
No, I did not. I just have it straight.
Okay. We'll change it to 46.5.
So I have Jalen Hurts over rushing yards.
We'll change it to 46.5. That's fair.
And I like Jordan Addison. I have his longest reception over 18.5 yards. You can't really play that on Prize Picks, but I see his first 2 catches is the best thing I can do. I don't know that I want to play the full game. I honestly don't. But depleted secondary for the Eagles. Again, a defense with a new coordinator. And I think Kirk is going to have those 1 or 2 plays where all eyes are on Jefferson. We know Hawkinson is going to be a guy that everybody is bettors, fans, coaches. Everybody's going to be watching Hawkinson. Nakobe Dean's out, who's a pretty good coverage linebacker from what I understand.
I think he's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, he's a bad – I think he was a Georgia guy too.
Yeah. Their whole defense is Georgia.
Yeah, they're just Georgia guys. I love it. They don't overthink it. It's like, let's just draft a fuck ton of Georgia guys for our defense. And that's why I like the Eagles as an organization. But anyways – I do like Hawkinson, but I think we're going to see an opportunity here, as we did in week 1, and they had success with it. Addison caught a touchdown pass. I think it was like 35 or 40 yards. I'm not saying he's going to score, but I think he is going to get another big play. So I like his longest reception, and I like Hurts on the ground to be a little bit more conservative with his arm. Somebody was asking about Kirk over attempts. Yeah, how can you not like that? I don't see the Vikings being a team that tries to run the ball at all this entire season. What did Madison have last week? 30-something yards on like 10 or 11 carries. I think Kirk over attempts is a great play. But, yeah, I like the under, like the Vikings with the points, but that's what I'm playing.
I have a point, and you tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right. I think the only reason you aren't on the Vikings is because you have the Eagles to win the Super Bowl and you're so incredibly high on them and you can't press the Vikings button. Is that true, or is that not true?
No, it's not true.
Okay, fair. That's why I wanted to ask. I wanted to clear it up. Because I feel like the Vikings would normally be in this slip if it was a team you weren't as high on as the Eagles, which is fair. Like, you have your preseason things. You're like, I would bet the Vikings, but I just think so highly of this Eagles team that I'm not going to bet on the Vikings. That's fair. But I'm curious because everyone has their like preseason teams that they're obsessed with. I am still kicking myself in the face for taking the fucking Giants plus 3.5 against the Cowboys when I love the Cowboys going into the season. I love them. And I'm like, but it's the spot. It's the division. Everyone's saying the Cowboys own the Giants. I'm like, I got him at the Giants. I get the hook. The hook? Tried 39.5. That was a good hook. Like,
so you're like half of the story. The other half of the story is that, listen, in all reality, I mean, if the Eagles lose and go 1-1, it doesn't affect their Super Bowl chance.
No.
So that's not why I'm not doing it. I have the Vikings over win total. So I'm invested in both teams. When there's a matchup on teams that I'm invested in both of them, I am even more reluctant to get involved unless I really, really love the spread and love an angle. But I don't know, man. The Vikings are the Vikings. Kirk is Kirk. What happens if the same old shit We know. We've heard it a
Eagles
million
could win
times.
this game by 40.
They really could. And what if
They
that
could.
happens? I'm going to be kicking myself in the fucking dick on a Thursday night when I'm just trying to have a nice, relaxing night and enjoy myself. And here I am giving a fucking unit away on the Vikings. They lose again against their win total. And I can't even be happy that the Eagles look good. So I don't want to put myself in that position. So I think that kind of makes sense, right?
That is more than fair.
I like the under more than I like the Vikings. I don't know if that helps.
No, it does. For anybody listening, DeGen would lean towards the under, but he's going with that Prize Picks entry. We'll see you tomorrow for NFL Sunday picks.
Maybe. I'm going to do my best. I'm traveling, but I'm going to do my best.
Fair enough. We'll talk to you soon, all right? Thanks for the insight. We'll talk to you. Ollie, 1 unit. So we've been talking a lot of NFL, but don't forget the baseball plays. And Ollie, 1 unit.
Oh, yeah.
It is September 14th.
That's right.
It is September 14th, Ollie. And you're in first place with a, dare I say, sizable lead. Clap it up for Ollie, 1 unit in the chat. Can we clap it up? We're almost done here. I said it on April 1st, the most underrated player in this competition. And I didn't mean that as a slight. I just believed in this man. And look at him sitting there on top of the mountain.
Here we are.
Top of Mount Everest. How does it feel?
I mean, I said from the beginning, I want to be the tortoise in this race. And here I am at the end with a lead, but a couple of weeks left.
It ain't over yet. And we got plays today. I like switching back to MLB. We got
a lot can happen in a couple of weeks. Yeah, one play, 1.5 units.
Wait, hold on. Did you see I liked your tweet? The way you described this one is that these guys should be cutting pallets at Lowe's. I thought that was the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, I just, it's true.
Oh, yeah. We're changing it to 1.5 units, by the way.
Okay, cool. It is a 1.5 unit. I know I declared that late, but I wanted to make sure I had some extra money to play with after Mitch Keller Day this morning. And I did. So we're going 1.5 today. We're going to try to build a little bit of separation here now that we're out in front. And I just really, really, really like the spot tonight. This morning, I looked at the board. Nothing stood out besides Mitch Keller against the Nationals team in a bounce back spot. And then I looked again. I looked a little bit deeper. And boy, oh boy, I saw, like I said in my description on Action Network, where you can follow all my plays if you're curious. Jose Urena should not be pitching Major League Baseball. He should be the guy that goes cut your pallets when you need to trim your fence pallets at Lowe's or whatever you need your wooden pallets for, whether it's trim for your floor, new floors, or whatever it is.
Bed frame, maybe.
Bed frame.
Yeah.
New floors.
I'm dealing with a broken bed frame right now.
Deck.
Yeah.
That's what Jose Urena should be doing, with all due respect. He had a nice little run there like 4 years ago in Miami, right? Had a good year.
He throws 97. It just gets hit really hard.
It gets hit really hard because it don't sink no more.
No. Don't
move anyway. And on the other side, Kenta Maeda has been super up and down this year as well. Kind of like he's good, but he's not that good. I don't really know what to expect of him. Kind of a depleted bullpen. They just traveled. So I think I think we're just going to get runs from start to finish here, honestly. Both bullpens should get put to work, especially the White Sox bullpen, which is just bad to begin with. And you got Jose Urena. I don't think he's going to go deep. A little better rested, I should say, after yesterday, the White Sox. But before that, they had that huge 20-run game in Kansas City. Not the best hitting conditions out there in Chicago. It's that time of the year where, we don't get those 85 humid days where the ball just flies out of ballparks, but nothing too concerning from a weather standpoint. Just give me runs, start to finish here.
Question for you from Richie Parlay.
Yeah.
You're not worried his bad performance is a function of him being at Coors so long? No, I have my answer, but I'm curious.
No, he just sucks ass.
Yeah, my answer to that is a good question, right? Because you get a guy coming up from Coors,
but that was last year, right?
Inflated ERA. I totally get that.
Right.
And bets lose, right? He could pitch well today. But the question is he a good pitcher? Absolutely not. You got to watch Jose Urena. He has no command. It's 97, but it's a flat fastball. Doesn't have any of that. When we talk about pitchers with that induced vertical break, that life on the fastball makes it look like it's rising, right? Makes it look like it's coming in harder than it is. His is 97. I bet if you ask a major league hitter, it looks 94. Strider, for example, coming in at 98. I bet you ask, it looks like it's coming in at 101. It's flat. It's got no life. He's got no command of his secondaries. He's not a good pitcher. That would be my answer.
Yeah,
You
I don't know if
summarized it
it's
best. He sucks ass.
I don't know if it's my imagination, but I remember him having a good sinker when he was on the Marlins years ago. I don't know if I'm making that up, but when I
I don't
pictured
even remember
Jose Urena being like, he had like a 1 year down there where he just ate a bunch of innings, had like a 4-ish ERA, and we were like, maybe they got something here. Maybe he can be all right.
Because he throws hard. It lights up the radar gun.
Yeah, exactly. All in all, no, I think he stinks. I think the Twins are going to get to him, especially those left-handed hitters, Julian, Kepler, especially those two. Matt Wallner maybe at the bottom of that lineup. I really like Julian tonight to do some damage. And then, like I said, on the flip side, Kenta Maeda, not a huge fan. I respect him. You know, he's been in the game for a little while now. But I think the White Sox, at least the top of that lineup, will be able to do a little bit of damage, at least work some counts, because Maeda can lose control out of nowhere, walk two guys, give up a bomb, boom, just like that. After, he's cruising for 4.5 innings, something like that. Walk, blast. That's definitely in his repertoire. We've kind of seen stuff like that all year. He looks unhittable, filthy splitter, whatever it is, and then loses control, blow up inning. That's kind of what you're banking on, getting runs from the White Sox offense these days, but I think the Twins are going to do most of the damage here for us. And I'm not paying -200 for the Minnesota Twins. I don't care who they're playing.
More than fair. That was going to be my next question. Were you thinking about how you're going to play the Twins? But I don't think you really like Kenta Maeda today. And I think that's why.
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, like he could go out and pitch 6 innings, 1 run, and I wouldn't be shocked at all because the White Sox lineup stinks. They've got 1.5 professional baseball hitters on that team at this point, and that's really only Luis Robert. Like, he's 1.5 guys at this point.
NFL. I've seen you post some NFL plays.
I mean,
and I sometimes don't even care about the plays. It's not like you're a bet better. I just love your explanations. That I go to Ollie's Twitter whenever he's posting plays, and I just read the explanation. They're my favorite part of your entire Twitter.
You got to keep it honest. Ever since I stopped doing a crazy amount of research on plays, going to XFIP, WAP, Fangraph, Savant, whatever, like those things are fine to reference if you like a spot. But lately, last month and a half or so, when I've been back on my A game, it's really just looking at the board and let it talk. And today, squaring up with TJ Hawkinson catches over 4.5, nothing too crazy. I don't really like a side in the game. But after Hunter Henry just diced up that Eagles defense, and now they're -3 guys, TJ Hawkinson with a better quarterback as a better tight end, who doesn't necessarily get a lot of yards per catch in his time in Minnesota, but they do feed him. Didn't he? I think he had like 7 catches for like 40 yards the other day in week 1. He's a red zone target. Like you've been talking about, Nakobe Dean's out. That Eagles secondary kind of got banged up. Much higher total in this game from the Eagles standpoint. 5 or 6 points from week 1. High scoring game, high paced offense. I'm 0-3 on NFL props this season, but I got a feeling this one gets me through the hoop.
Love it, my man. Well, I appreciate you coming on per usual. Just before you go, your Patriots seem pretty sharp again.
Mac Jones is 2-12 as an underdog in his career. Mac Jones has never won a game where the opponent scores over 25 points or more. And Tua Tagovailoa is 5-0 against Bill Belichick. Just saying. I think Mac Jones is going to have a very solid season. I'm on his over touchdowns this year. I'm on his over passing yards this year. But I don't know.
What's with Boston sports fans always betting on Boston? Is it because that you guys have cashed so many times in the past? So it's
everybody always bets on their own team. What do you mean?
Boston feels like every Boston fan I know has everything Boston every year. Like you'll ask Kobe, he's got the Celtics over 81.5 wins.
What did I have Red Sox this year?
Did you have anything Red Sox this year?
No.
Wow. Maybe I'm wrong.
And that's because I thought they were actually going to do stuff this year. I was like, expectations are kind of low. They made a nice couple of moves.
So you did think they'd be good.
This is when they're going to strike. Yeah, but I am so much more mentally invested and emotionally invested in the Boston Red Sox than the Patriots. Like my Patriots fandom, for obvious reasons, has gone down the past few years. It's just a very boring team to watch. They're not as good. There's just the energy is just off. But Red Sox, I was hyped up this year. Pissed off about today. Lots going on, but I wanted something to look forward to this season while watching the Patriots, and I put my faith in coins on McCorkle Jones, believe it or not, out of everything that I could have bet.
I have to ask you about the Heim situation.
Yeah, we got a couple minutes. What's up? It's not the right move. It's not.
He's not a good executive, I don't think.
Okay, well, your executive hasn't done shit in a decade.
I'm not talking. How many
I know.
times
I had to take the shot. I
have called for Brian Cashman's. Like I am not trying to compare. What I am looking objectively as like the whole league. I think what Heim Bloom was brought in to do, genuinely, was to fix the Red Sox farm system.
And did he do that?
And Colby and I were talking. Yes.
Yeah.
He did. And I think he's good at that aspect of being a general manager. The problem is there's a lot more factors to being a good general manager.
And I
don't
agree.
think he was good in free agency. I don't think he's been good in trades. What do you mean?
He's had some. Chris Martin's been bad. Kenley Jansen's been bad. Adam Duvall has been bad. Justin Turner's been awful.
I mean, the deal for Kenley is objectively not very good. To sign a closer to that much money is not a good deal.
Like, do you know what we had at closer before that, Peter?
That doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Oh, I wholeheartedly disagree there.
If you say that we've had a bad closer before, so what we should do is sign Kenley Jansen to a $32 million deal, that's not good business. And Chris Martin,
disagree.
Yes, he signed a $9.5 million deal. He signed a $9.5 million deal, and he's been great as an eighth inning guy. But at the end of the day, the big deals have not worked out. The Mookie Betts deal did not work out. There's been two big
deals, though. That's the thing is he.
Okay, so he's been sitting there as the Boston Red Sox GM, not doing anything.
Because
and then
he
couple
can't,
of big deals
Peter.
He's done.
It's
Why
the
can't
ownership. They don't want to spend money. They brought him in to rebuild the farm system while not spending money. That is what they brought him in to do. So you bring in a guy, the first thing you're like, hey, guess what? You have to trade one of the best baseball players this team's ever seen. Have fun. Go get something for him. Okay, he does that. COVID season, whatever, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares about that season, not even a Dodgers fan. Can't convince me otherwise. All right?
Okay.
So that season doesn't matter. Let's move on to the next season. What happened in his first full season? Do you remember? ALCS. Let me tell you.
ALCS.
He made a great trade that year. Do you remember what it was?
What was the trade?
Kyle Schwarber. Ever heard of him? Had a fucking incredible run once he came back and was healthy in late August, September, October baseball. Kyle Schwarber was unbelievable. He brought in Hunter Renfroe that season. He had an awesome season, awful postseason, but a great season. Now let's go again. And of course, did he fuck up by not signing Xander Bogaerts pre-2022? Maybe, but he made the right decision by letting him go last season, as much as that hurts me to say.
Did he make the right decision, or did the Padres give him $290 million?
Both can be true.
I think that they could have gotten him for cheaper for sure. So I think I misspoke when I said I think he is good at developing a farm system, but at most factors that make a good GM, I don't think that he's very good at those.
But
maybe he will get better one day.
Now there's going to be an offseason where they're going to open up the checkbooks and someone's going to come in and go overpay for Yamamoto or someone else.
If he is so good and the Red Sox can now spend money, why did they let him go?
Because this is John Henry and ownership saying, look at us, we're going to do something. We're going to get rid of the guy that most normal Red Sox fans don't like because he traded Mookie Betts, didn't sign Xander Bogaerts. Two fan favorites. And now, look, I'm just telling you
let him go because of those two optics?
No. Because now they can shift the energy and say, look, we're trying to do something. We're going to bring in a guy, don't know who it's going to be, literally have no idea. not a single name has been rumored. Couldn't tell you who it's going to be. And they're going to come in. They're going to be aggressive in free agency. They're going to make a trade. And they're going to trust someone new to do it. Because like you said, they don't trust Chaim Bloom to make the right move.
But why?
Well,
why don't they trust him to make that right move?
Because I think
he has a track record of not making the right
He's
moves.
a lot like Ben Charrington, where he's a little too scared to make an aggressive trade. And we look back at Ben Charrington now and we're like, thank God he didn't trade Xander Bogaerts and whoever else for Cole Hamels, because that would have been a really bad trade. It was Mookie Betts. He was rumored to trade Mookie Betts and 2 other prospects. I think it might have been Henry Owens. So that wouldn't have been too bad.
Owens.
But
you know what's funny? I liked Henry Owens.
It's a big Hank Owens guy.
I thought he was gonna be good.
Huge. But like he's been a little too scared to go over the top and make that, especially his deadlines have been 2022, 2023 deadlines have been just awful. Now the prospects you got back for Christian Vasquez, maybe you've got something there in Willie Abreu and Emmanuel Valdez. Maybe. I don't know. I like Abreu too. But there's no doubt that just completely shifted the vibes in the clubhouse. They tried to change it around. They got rid of JD, didn't bring back Vasquez, didn't bring back Xander, tried to get a new clubhouse in there. What did they forget about? Starting pitching. Kind of important in a Major League Baseball team. So he's got his ups, he's got his downs.
Not trading Paxton. I mean,
yeah,
the Red Sox got an F at the deadline, in my opinion.
Looking at it back now, yeah, like it was. But what we don't know what the offers were for Paxton. It could have been like a fringe top 30 guy.
Okay, they're not going to keep him anyway.
But if they were to trade James Paxton, who was dealing at that time,
exactly. You see, the Tigers got the 7th ranked prospect in the Philly system for Lorenzen,
who threw
no. Saw what Giolito got.
Yeah, that one was crazy.
I mean, that was the market.
Was crazy.
It wasn't like they were getting nobody. Paxton, a lefty throwing 97, looked like he's back. They would have gotten something. That's the thing. It's like they didn't trade Duvall. They didn't trade Turner.
Not committing
so much for That's why when I see that there's a reason they let him go now that they have the money.
Because the past 2 deadlines, there was no commitment to buy or sell. 2021. It was
I'm interested
a soft
to see
buy.
who picks him up. I'm interested to see who picks up Chaim Bloom. I bet it's a small market team.
I was talking to Jake Hazen. I said he should go over and fix up the Angels. Build up that farm system.
I don't know if anybody can. Did you hear about the Angels? They might get sent to the minors. They might not
at
be
this point, like, fuck it. Could you blame them? I don't know. I tried to defend Chaim Bloom as much as I can. I still think that he deserved a season to go spend and buy, but it is what it is. It's not my team. I'm not the billionaire that doesn't pay attention to my team anymore.
Soccer. I mean, think about it.
Yeah, soccer. Liverpool. The Pittsburgh Penguins. The list goes on and on.
Angels might trade Trout. Y'all believe it? Yeah, I do. I mean, I said that a month ago.
Now, how fucking hilarious would it be if they bring in Chaim Bloom and they're like, okay, trade Mike Trout? I mean, the stories write themselves.
That would actually be awesome.
You know what I mean? Like, what is Chaim Bloom's career resume? Traded Mookie Betts to the Dodgers. Traded Mike Trout to the Dodgers. Like, it would be pretty fucking funny. That being said,
whenever you got a big trade to make, bring in Chaim Bloom and let him do it.
He could make.
And Chaim Bloom will love it. He's like, yeah, what prospects? I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's not my money. What can I get? I bet you he could get like 2 okay guys for Anthony Rendon at this point too.
Who would you, if you were the Red Sox, put your GM hat on? Who would you trade from your system for Trout?
Anybody besides Teal, I think.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
You would trade Marcelo Meyer over Kyle Teal?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm shocked by that answer.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I don't
have
think
you
Trout
seen Roman Anthony? I think Roman Anthony might have the greatest left-handed swing in the minor leagues right now. It's gorgeous.
It's sick, but it's not necessarily like neither is Mike Trout necessarily a position of need for the Boston Red Sox. As weird as that sounds, like
they had to have Rafaela coming up. I like Rafaela.
He's he's got holes in his swings, but he is an
He's
elite,
young. He's young.
elite defensive outfielder, which I don't know if you know, but the Red Sox are the worst defensive team of all time this season. So
I know,
kind of a need.
I kind of pushed that narrative. I think I started it.
I mean, I don't think it's a narrative. It's just a fact.
Exactly. I pushed it.
Yeah.
Props to
And yeah, good job. And the Red Sox don't necessarily need an outfielder as like you're getting a bona fide, arguably the best outfielder that's played post 1970. And you're like questioning whether you want him or not. Well, he hasn't been healthy in 4 years. You're already backed up in the outfield. But if Mike Trout's out of LA, he's playing the outfield way less. He goes to DH a lot more. You can kind of spin it that way. I want to trade for Corbin Burns or Brandon Woodruff. I want a starting pitcher, and I want the Japanese pitcher Yamamoto. That I think is what the direction should go.
And then if I'm a Yankee fan, like I'd like Ohtani, I'd like Burns or Woodruff, I'd like
right.
Yamamoto.
We all want
no,
those guys,
yeah.
right? Like, doesn't that sound right?
Yeah.
Duh. But you brought the option up, like,
Sure.
what would you trade for Trout? It's like, well, this, but that's not really what realistically I think the direction they should
rather
go.
Burns. Yeah, no, that's fair. Ollie, appreciate you, my friend.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you soon, and good luck with this over. I like it, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, don't forget the over. That's the real
over.
play. I got my Red Sox rant out. I'm going to be ranting again next week and probably the week after that, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, they're making moves.
They stand with Heim Bloom. They stand. Honestly, I'm a little bit jealous because you guys just had the nuts to fire your GM, and we've had ours for 88 years.
And they're going to do it again next year, Peter.
Yep.
At this point, they are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, Yankee fans, I get a DM probably every day. What should the Yankees do with Cashman? And I have the same response every single time. What do you think I think? I mean, how many times have I said?
Do you want
get him out?
You think they clean? You think they should clean both, or one or the other?
I think the Yankees need a complete switch.
I agree. Yeah.
Like a overhaul. Like, I mean,
bring in Posada.
I worked there for 2 years. Like, I know how. I mean, I don't know everything. That's not what I'm trying to say. But like, there is a vibe there. Like, there is a. I'm going to refrain from talking. Ollie, I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Good luck.
We'll talk to you. Jake Hazen at the deadline. Just got off work. Is off an insane 7-unit day the other day, hitting A's. Now let's bring some of those units over to the stream, huh?
Yeah, the stream's been bad, man. Even though, despite the fact I'm down 8 units on it, right? Yeah,
Yes.
8.5 pretty much. Wow. And I'm fully out of the race, Still going to come on, give some plays.
You're not fully out of the race. Rome wasn't built in one
I'm
day.
fucking out of the race, dude.
I don't know.
If I would have came on 2 days ago, and I had that 7-unit day, I'll be back in the race. The chances of me replicating that this part of the season is fucking close to impossible.
Never say never. You said close to impossible, but not impossible. Let's hear play number 1.
Close.
Rockies money line. I mean, this could be a 2-unit winner.
Yeah, dude, I've been just spamming underdogs this week.
Giants Rockies postponed Thursday due to rain. I'm not kidding.
Fuck, man, I really like that play, man. Did it just come out right now?
Underdog MLB Giants Rockies postponed Thursday due to rain. It's actually incredible timing.
It just came out right now.
Yeah, I would not lie to you. I mean, we'll still count it,
I know
but
you're
you'll see the game.
I know you're not lying to me. I was just curious if it came out like 20 minutes ago.
Literally, it says now. Yeah,
dude, what the fuck, man? I was about to say to it, yeah, but we're gonna make a comeback though. Get hit plays like these, and then you're like, nope, postponed.
Play number 2. Rangers.
The Blue Jays are rat shit, dude. They're about to get swept 4-game series, and Kevin Gausman. So
Corey Seager boycotts rest of the season. Rangers auto lose.
Shut up. Okay, dude. I was about to. I said Corey Seager. I was like, oh fuck me. So Kevin Gosman, dude. So this guy's been if you're a big fan of Sierra and X-Fop, then you think Kevin Gosman's the greatest pitcher, probably first ballot Hall of Famer of all time. He's the best pitcher ever. Because he leads the league in Sierra over Strider, which is insane because X-Stats think Strider probably I don't think anyone's ever been better than Strider according to the X-Stats. So, but Gosman has a better Sierra than him. So you was a big fan of him. But the thing is about this, and the important part of the handicap, Gosman ranks towards the bottom 10 in run support. I ain't gonna get it done, dude. I ain't gonna get it done. And of all the other side, okay, so he looked really bad for his start back off the IL, but that's kind of what you expect out of a pitcher. Granted, I'm not really asking for a legacy of Aldi start, even though he might get one just because the fact that the Blue Jays just refused to hit for Kevin Gausman.
I have Vladdy over hits. It's actually insane.
I think he's going to get a single and a walk today, dude. Is he still on pace?
He is now 1 hit off pace. He's projected 163.
Dude, is there some way you can hedge this? No, there's no way.
Yeah, I could throw.
Peter, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, Peter?
I'm just milking it. I'm watching.
Hold on, I'm gonna ask you this hypothetical right now.
Yeah.
All right. You need one more hit. Last game of the year, he's minus 240 to get a hit. Are you hedging?
I haven't decided.
I
haven't decided. I don't know.
Is this like a $2,500 payout?
No, this is 250 to win 6,250.
Even bigger. Dude, you got to put a fucking rack on him not to get a hit that night easily. Come on, man. It would be big plus money, too.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I might just say, give me it all.
I know you, dude. You're going to hedge. You're going to 100% hedge that. Come on, man. I saw you hedge a plus 280.
Would.
I saw you hedge a plus 280 in the World Baseball Classic. You're gonna fucking hedge this, dude.
That's good gambling practices, and I am a good.
No, dude, you don't hedge a plus 280, dude. That was bad gambling practices. Now
I hedged a plus 280.
Didn't you hedge Japan to win the WBC?
Yeah, I hedged. It was more than plus 280. It was.
No, it was plus 280. Japan would win they're the favorite behind.
Hedged Japan.
It was, I remember this because I was very, very, very involved in World Baseball Classic gambling wise. It was USA plus 225, DR also plus 225, and then it was, whatchamacallit, then it was Japan plus 285, then Venezuela plus 800, and the rest were long shots. I remember that because I was very, very, I hit the WBC lab so hard. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I hedged and I ended up making money on it. That's my goal, is to make money kind of no matter what. I'm here to make money.
Yeah, so my point is, Peter, if you're going to hedge a plus 285, you're going to hedge a 6250 payout.
I'll probably hedge.
Yeah, you're going to probably, no, you're going to fucking hedge it, dude.
I'll probably hedge.
Stop acting like, no, I'm going to go balls. No, dude, you should hedge and you're going to.
I'll probably hedge. I will hedge.
Dude.
But I don't want to have to hedge.
I know, but it's going to come around to that. I think that would be the most fun thing. That would be awesome. But
that would be awesome, actually.
You put a rack on Vladdy not to get a hit just to be safe. And that would pay out like $2,400. So either way, dude, you're going to be making a good amount of money.
That's a good point.
So, yeah, Rangers money line. That's the pitch.
Rangers money line. Okay. Orioles. Birdland. Chaos.
Oh, dude, you know how in depth I get my Orioles pitches. I just saw that they own the Rays and they're short fave and they should be free. Also, Bradish is a much better pitcher than Savali.
Yeah, he is.
The thing is, too, it's really funny about this. You know how good Fujinami's been since Felix went down?
Unbelievable.
15 innings pitched, 20 Ks.
Yeah.
And 1 walk.
He looks like the best reliever in baseball
nuts.
right now. Yeah.
That's the thing about Fuji, though. Dude, literally, if he just knew where his stuff was going.
It's electric stuff.
His fastball was insane. Dude, the amount of rise that thing has coming at 102 is fucking.
And it's
nuts.
a low slot too, so it's like that Joe Ryan S. It's that 3/4.
If you've never seen Fujinami pitch, he is fucking electric, dude. And
I agree.
He stepped in nicely. They thrown in Cano in the closing spot, and they're gonna let Fujinami kind of be that setup man. And dude, Orioles, they just fucking do the thing, dude. I don't know how they do it, but
I will say I am biased because I have obviously Rays plus 350 to win the division. I hope the Rays sweep them this series. But
that's just
I do.
The Orioles are inevitable, dude. Like, and the thing is, too, it's like the Angels have a better starting rotation, like as of right now with injuries, than the Orioles, and they're not better, but like they're not far off, dude. Like the Orioles, Flaherty is 8 ERA with them, Kyle Gibson 5 ERA, Kramer 5 ERA.
Yeah, but those guys are not that important. I'm more looking at I love Grayson, I love Bradish, and I think John Means is solid.
Yeah, Grayson's amazing. Grayson's amazing, but like just for my narrative, Grayson 4.3 ERA. And like
it was like 6.75 though, like 2 months ago.
Yeah, dude, you know I'm a Grayson guy.
Yeah. Well, JK's in 3 plays, 3 winners.
Like this purely ERA, like the Angels rotation, including Ohtani, is like the same as the Orioles, but they might win 100 fucking games. I don't know how how are they doing this? I love it, dude. This is awesome.
I like this narrative ball where it's like
the narrative ball. I love
narrative ball. Like the Angels rotation isn't much worse than the Orioles.
It's not. I mean, you could argue it's better with Ohtani.
It's better.
If one quick little rant before you kick me off here, Peter. Do you know Matt Wise, my guy, right?
Who?
Matt Wise, the Angels pitching coach.
You hate him.
Yeah, you know what he told Reed Detmers?
What?
One of the Reed Detmers, like, you know what we're gonna do this season, Reed? We're gonna make you a pitch to contact pitcher. One of the most electric, like, strikeout stuff from any lefty, like one of the best strikeout, just purely on strikeout lefties in the MLB. And they try to make him a pitch to contact pitcher this year. Look how that's going. He had a 3.4 ERA last year. He was fucking amazing.
Yeah, he's great.
And now he's like one of the worst pitchers in the league. That's it. We're out of here.
All right, we'll talk to you
Goodbye.
later.
Oh, Navy outright. Don't forget.
They can't pass.
Navy outright. Do not forget.
They cannot pass. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed the stream. Short one, right? Just some ranting, just some picks. Back tomorrow, Sunday. Remember, big Fridays are going to start to become our big stream day, right? Everyone's got Sunday plays, Friday MLB plays, huge stream tomorrow. Be there, all right? Appreciate you guys. W's in chat. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Skol. Go Vikings. Let's raid the Ramble Boys. Let's raid the Ramble Boys. I like the Ramble Boys. Show them some love. Did you guys enjoy the stream, or am I just sitting here talking to myself? It's all right. Butane Cookman money on WW. Appreciate all of you guys. Head over to Ramble. Stay in the raid. Go enjoy those guys, all right? Talk to you. Not gambling advice. Peace.